Coming to you from deep within the heart of Texas in our secret underground bunkers, it's the New Republic Radio Show. Welcome, my fellow Americans. I'm going to put a twist on one of Ronald Reagan's sayings. It's not a new day in America. As he so succinctly put those words years ago, there was a change, a new thought process, and new ideas with America, and new hope for what direction America as a whole would go. We can't really say that today, but you know what? It is what it is. And I don't want to necessarily talk about Obama in general. I really just want to talk about what happened as far as why are we here where we are at. With the Dow falling, no future, no hope for stability with our jobs, no hope for any kind of investment opportunities, nothing to do with our money other than it to be taxed. Where do we go from here? As we saw, roughly half the nation was for and all about Obama and his policies, and the other half of the nation was not. And that's kind of what I want to talk about tonight is, what is that all about? Why is there such a discrete difference in America? How have we come to this point to where it is literally almost drawn completely down the middle? How does one get a nation to the point where one half believes in a completely different ideological idea than the other half? It's honestly interesting in one way. I mean, it's sad as us as Americans to have to live through it. But as many of you know me, and who a lot of you have listened to me have figured out, I'm a very logical man. You know, I think things through, and a lot of times I overthink them. But to me, every thought process is about the mechanics of everything that went into it, all the ramifications, what caused those ramifications to be there, where they came from, how they were influenced, how they got the way that they were, and so on, so forth, and so on. And, you know, my brain just goes back further, back until the origination of whatever the thought process was. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But what I wanted this show to be about was simply, where do we go from here? We have this man reelected. We know that there's a problem. How do we get out of the rut that we've been in for over the last 4 years? And what I mean by that is, in fact, this has been going on much longer, but it's culminated into what it is today. But what I'm really getting to here is, how do we go about reuniting America? And to do that, we have to dissect this entire situation. And I've really been thinking about this. Has kind of been tumbling around in my brain for a while, but it really came to a head last night, I have to say. And what I'm going to do, and what I want you guys to do, you men and women out there, as individuals, as friends, as family, all of us together, I want us to activate a brain trust. Some of you, if y'all don't know what I'm talking about when I say a brain trust, I just simply mean a large group of people that are bright, smart, intelligent, and who may even have different ways of going about thinking things. Some people may be like myself, very logical, analytical. Some people may be more artistic and they think more way outside the box. You know, we need all of your ideas to culminate, come together, and to come up with a solution. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay out for you some of our problems. And of course, I will give us some ideas to help this out. But one of the biggest things that I have seen over and over and over again for, really this has been going on since the early 80s. And I mean in large, in very measurable ways. It's been going on for longer than that, especially around the Vietnam War. But I mean, this has just been more of a mainstream problem since the early 80s. It's been very measurable. But basically what I'm talking about is the mainstream media. If you want to know how Barack Obama, with his policies, that the average, what you would call old school American, would never agree with what our grandparents, with what our great grandparents would never ever agree with. If you wonder how he got elected, reelected, or elected and reelected, it's simply the media. The media has been his greatest tool. Now, a lot of you are saying, Keith, why do you say that? Well, it's simple. The mainstream media lies. They cover for this president and others. They basically tweak the narrative, adjust the narrative. They ignore certain things that are in the news, that are happening right now. They ignore those things because, why would they ignore it? Because it would harm the narrative. And the narrative is bigger government, higher taxes, one world government, everybody being interconnected, everybody being reliant upon each other, and first and foremost, the government from cradle to grave. Why would they do this? Simple. To control the masses. Why? Because if you control the masses, you control their money. Simple, basic greed. And the problem is the ABCs, NBC, CBS, CNN, even Fox News, that's what these people are doing. And that's what the point is. It's to ultimately, at the end of the day, make money, enrich their lives, enrich their families, and enrich their estates. That's basically what it is. And I don't mean to be saying any of this as far as wealth envy or power envy. I don't care. You know what? If you're just a regular businessman or businesswoman or whatever, I don't care if you make billions of dollars, trillions of dollars, or hundreds of dollars. Good for you. You know what? If you have 10 times more money than me, no problem. I'm in fact going to give you a high five and say, good going. But what I mean is the whole reason why these people are doing it is because they are greedy and they have no thought process of how it affects you or I. They don't care. That's the reason why ultimately the media picks the candidates. Do you think that Romney or Obama got picked in the runoffs that they had with each other, with their with the Republican candidates and with the Democrat candidates, when it was Hillary Clinton versus Obama, when it was Romney versus Kaine and all the others, Ron Paul? How do you think we got to where we are now with these candidates? The media. For instance, with Ron Paul, left and right and center, the media kept shutting down. When Ron Paul would go to a debate and completely own everybody, what would they do? The media would laugh it off, make fun of it, talk about the things that he said, even though everybody in the audience and everybody that happened, if it was a televised event, everybody who was listening to it was like, yeah, man, this guy's right. Yeah, I'm feeling what this guy's saying. They didn't care. He didn't fit their narrative, because that kind of person would come in and shake everything up. He would destroy the status quo. So they find people like Obama. They find people like Romney, like McCain, who won't shake things up, who won't inspire people, who won't basically come in and make major differences and major changes that would affect the way that they can control us. And ultimately, like for instance, Ron Paul would never ever get into office because he wants to take care, he wants to get rid of the Fed. He wants to get out of the entanglement of foreign wars. They will never let that happen. Not the way it's set up now. They have too much power, too much ability at the moment. Another example of how the mainstream lies and manipulates the masses. Look at Simply Today. As a lot of you saw on my Facebook last night, I was giving out, honest opinions and advice to my friends. I was like, look, if you're in the stock market, get out tomorrow morning as soon as you can get on the phone, as soon as you can get on the computer, make the trade, get out. Guess what happened? Over 300 points of loss. Why? Because as a lot of you know that are listening to this show, for the next 4 years, business people, the owners of the businesses, the management, they don't know what they're going to do. They have all these taxes coming up after January 1 that's going to be changing. They're going to be hit with all these taxes. Obamacare looks like it's going to be going into effect because Romney didn't get elected. So now we have examples like Kroger, Red Lobster, as well as Olive Garden. These guys are laying people off. They're basically making it where you don't have the option to go full-time. They're only hiring part-time. And if they can get rid of employees for any particular reason that are full-time, they're going to do it. Why? Because that will save them millions of dollars, because they won't have to pay the penalties for not having them enrolled in Obamacare or pay the massive amounts of money that it will cost to have them enrolled. So it's just a simple fact. A lot of people went to work this morning and got laid off. A lot of people went in today to their job at with something to do with stocks or the market or whatever, and they got millions of calls and messages to get out, to sell, to do whatever they can, to make up for whatever losses they're going to incur to get out of the market. And yeah, I knew this was going to happen. Many of you knew this was going to happen. But the crazy part is, and this is my example, the liberals, the left, the media came in and said, oh, yeah, well, by the way, the reason why the market tumbled over 300 points was simply because of the fears from Europe, from Spain, and, all that stuff that's going on over there. That's the only reason why, we had this huge nosedive. And they completely ignored the fact that the day before the election, we had a huge rise because all the polls were saying what? They were saying that Romney had a huge chance of winning. When he lost, the market gave back all that it had earned the day before and then a whole lot more. But the media completely covered it up. The media blamed it on Europe. And the funny part is, I saw some of the liberal idiots out there. I saw them make comments on Facebook, on Twitter. I heard them actually use Europe as the example for why the stock market dropped so many points. So you can't tell me that the media doesn't make a difference. You can't tell me that the brainwashing that they do to these people doesn't make a difference, because it does. So my question to you guys is, what do we do about that? How can we stop this? Because, we really need to stop it before the next 4 years. We need to stop it immediately, right away. I know it's not going to be possible. Not that soon. It might take us 10 years. It might take us 20 years. But as American citizens who love our country, that's what we need to do. As patriots, that's what we need to do. Here's my suggestion. Y'all tell me what you think. And, you can text me with your comments, you call in, whatever. 979-31-TALK-6. 979-31-TALK-6. But here's my idea. You've all heard of Consumer Reports, right? Okay. We need to create a Consumer Reports for the media. And we basically, kind of like they do, this Consumer Reports will take, let's say, stories about Benghazi. All right. We'll look at, how ABC, CBS, CNN, MSNBC, we'll look at all those and we'll say, all right, CBS covered this story. They only reported on it 2 times for a total of 5.5 minutes. They completely waxed over all the facts. They kind of, soft-sold it and made it seem questionable, whatever, and then compare it to the actual facts down there and give them like a A to F rating, So on any particular story over a week or something, or maybe over, maybe even over a month, you can grade them each month or something, just so that there's not ridiculous amounts of work involved. But that way you could have like 5 or 6 major stories each month for each media group. And, we can say something like, after it's all said and done, we can be like, CBS got a D- on Benghazi. And we can say, well, it's because they left out this important information. They actually lied about this information. And, they misled viewers by saying X, Y, and Z. And then we can go over to, like, let's say MSNBC, and we can be like, they got an F- on the Benghazi story because they only talked about it like 1 minute, a minute and a half, an entire month. They lied about everything, actually, completely confused the facts, and basically did their best to cover it up, But that way we would have, actual ratings for each of the media outlets. And if we could figure out, just like how Consumer Reports became the kind of group to go to when you wanted to find out if a certain item was good or a car or whatever, we need to make this media group, we need to make them like that. And of course they can't be biased. They can't lean left or right. They need to actually be not necessarily moderate, but actually just truthful, and not sell out to any side. But the point is, the reason why I want to do this is because people need to understand how much bad information they're being fed, or how much information that they're not getting, because these affiliates, these media outlets don't want their narrative to change. If it's everything from global warming to media cover-ups, people need to know the truth about it. Now, here's the other side of that coin. There are many good alternative media outlets out there right now. All right? These media outlets are actually only about reporting the truth. And at least if they do have a leaning, they're honest about it. And they'll be like, yeah, look, we're conservative this, or we're kind of a moderate that. But most of these outlets are only worried about the truth. They're worried about just getting information out there to people, and there's a lot of them. Even like my show, The New Republic. I always talk about the truth. I may give you my commentary afterwards, after I just simply tell you the truth, and you can take that either way, because you can listen to the facts that I gave you and you can make your judgment on that, or you might hear my particular opinion and it may sway you one way or not, but at least you know it's my opinion. But there are alternative media out there, like the Blaze TV, The New Republic, Savage Nation, that's a great show, The Daily Caller, that's a good website, Drudge Report, great website, and many others. I need to put together a good list for you guys, just for the listeners of The New Republic, that y'all will know, where you can get even more great information other than The New Republic. I don't know why you would really go anywhere else other than New Republic, but hey. But yeah, that's kind of my idea, and I need you guys to really think this over, think this through, give me some ideas, if you happen to know, if you happen to have a rich uncle or something that's all about, he or she, uncle or aunt, he or she's like a really huge patriot. They got a lot of money and they want to start this, media group. And I'd probably recommend you start as a website first, because that's a cheap, easy way to do it. You can get yourself off the ground and get things rolling. And then who knows, maybe you might even turn into a major, TV show or media show or something like that. Who cares? As long as you're doing your job, as long as you're basically reporting on the media and reporting on the truth of the media. That's my whole idea out there. So tell me what you think. Is it a good idea? Bad idea? Should we go back to the drawing board? Do some of you great thinkers out there have a better idea? Let me know. I'm all about that. If I don't have the best option or the best answer, I have no problem following someone else's lead. Anyway, let me know. Tell me what you think. 979-31-TALK-6. Text message me, call me, whatever. Leave a message. We don't care. All right. Some more stuff that I wanted to say about this. The whole election thing, man, I'm just done with it. It is what it is. Yes, there was fraud. I know that. I know all about it. I was there telling a lot of people about it. Yeah, we had the DREAM Act that Obama pushed through, so we had all these technically non-American citizens that came in, and I know a lot of them were bused to the voting polls, and I know a lot of people that were not Americans did vote in this election. I get it, I know it, and I know a lot of the machines were rigged. I know that there was a lot of Republican judges ejected from polling stations, but the election was so close. Really, in the big picture, I don't know. The other fact is there was over 10 million Republicans that didn't come out. They didn't come out and vote. So I don't know that there was exactly 10 million illegal votes. Whatever. I'm just done with it. There's a lot more problems than just Obama. Yes, he's a major issue, but I guess we just have to roll on, move to the next thing. And I think the next thing on our target should be the media. I think even if we had Obama in the White House, but we had an honest media, think about it. He wouldn't be able to pull all the garbage that he's pulled on us. Because here's the simple fact. The left does not know about Benghazi. The left doesn't know about Fast and Furious. The left doesn't know about crony capitalism with the bailouts, with the connection to the green jobs failures, that $6 billion that was given away to Obama friends and to the money bundlers. People don't know about that. I dare you, ask your liberal friends. Ask them what they think about Benghazi or Fast and Furious or the bailouts or Solyndra. Ask them what they think. I promise you they won't know a thing. If they even know what you're talking about, they'll have some completely fabricated story about it. So that's what I mean. That's the problem. There's all of these people that are completely brainwashed. They don't know the truth. They don't know the facts. They have no idea America is printing $85 billion per month. $85 billion per month. They have no idea. It's not that they don't care. It's that they have this carefully formulated version of reality. If they really knew about these things, I promise you, even the most virulent leftist, I don't care how supercilious this person is, they would still freak out about a lot of this stuff. If they knew about the drones that were killing Americans without trial, think about it. Why are there no people on the left that's why are they not complaining about all the wars? Why are they not protesting wars? The reason why they're not protesting wars is because the way the media is reporting on the wars that we have is completely different than it was when Bush was in office. Now, I mean, I'm not a huge Bush supporter or whatever, but I'm just calling the kettle black. Well, no, wait. No, I'm not. I'm just calling the facts. That was a good one on me. Anyway. But yeah, if the media was reporting about the drone attacks like they reported on Iraq and Afghanistan, you would have tons of these leftists. They would be lining up and they would be, complaining and protesting. But because the media is not couching it in a certain light, it just doesn't seem to bother them. There's a few that are just, they drink the Kool-Aid no matter what. So it wouldn't matter to them. But, as a whole. And I really think that all of this boils down to education. We have to educate people. We have to make them understand this stuff. And this whole, consumer reports of media idea, that's one way that I think we could educate people. Because if you could be like, why do you watch ABC? Why do you watch CNN? Oh, well, that's because, Fox News is so biased and slanted. And we can be like, wow, you know what? Yeah, Fox News is slanted, but they actually got a better rating in, the consumer reports for media than CNN and ABC and blah, 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 blah. What are you talking about? Well, your favorite news network, they lied about this, X, Y, and Z, and da-da-da-da-da. Maybe. As long as they're not complete Kool-Aid drinkers, they would listen. And once we did that, at that point, I really do feel that we could get a legitimate third party going. Because if people were hearing on news, on the news, on TV, through the internet, if they were reading it on their tablets, their Android tablets, not their iPads, because real people don't use iPads. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway. But yeah, if people were getting this information, I think we would have a whole different situation in this nation. And it would be a great way to start a true third party. And the reason why, you ask, should we do a third party? Well, two reasons mainly. Because number one, it would make the Republican and the Democrat Party actually differentiate themselves. And what I mean by that is they would be forced to be an alternative. Right now, the only real difference, granted, they all talk their talk about why they're different than the other party. Ultimately, what it boils down to is, reproductive rights, gay rights, and, financial responsibility. And that's it. But you know what? There's an entire universe out there, and those two problems do not a candidate make. So, if you had a third party, they would actually have to have platforms and beliefs that would actually make them a true alternative to each other. Because otherwise, it would just look like, the third party could just say, well, you can vote for us, and we believe X, Y, and Z, or you could vote for your choice, Republican or Democrat, which are basically the same. And everybody would just laugh and be like, haha, yeah, you're right. You guys really are different. Y'all actually do talk about completely different stuff. The other nice thing about that is once the media was out of it, with a third party, you don't need money. Because if everybody was leaving the Republican Party and the Democrat Party in droves, that means that they don't have any money to contribute to the party. They can't come up with billion-dollar campaigns anymore because there's nobody out there to give them money. Sure, they can get idiots like George Soros and other rich, crazy bajillionaires to fund them. But at that point, that's still limited. And the other deal about that is when you just are backed by a few rich people, it makes you look even worse than if you just didn't have any money at all. So at that point, we could actually have a third party. And as many of you know, we once did have a third party. And it kind of, set things back in balance. And eventually the third party went away. Why? Because, well, it did what it needed to do. It took care of the imbalance in politics. And so it went away because it was no longer needed in the big picture of things. But the problem is now we're so far down that road that a third party is needed again. And that way we can get real, not politicians, but citizen politicians. We can groom our folks from the local level, and we can send them up through the ranks, and we can, find out the good ones and find out the bad ones, separate the wheat from the chaff. And then once we get some good ones, we can send them to Washington. We can put somebody up that's great as a option for president. I was really hoping that we could get Romney in there. I don't support Romney on a whole bunch of things because I'm a conservative. And quite frankly, I don't care what you people think, but he is seriously a moderate. I mean, you can argue with me all day, but I've got facts on my side. You just have opinion. I'm a conservative. He's a moderate. That's the reason why, 10 million Republicans did not go out and vote for him. Because he's a freaking moderate, just like McCain was. And the idiotic, Republican Party thought, well, it didn't work the first time. It could possibly work the second time. What the heck were they thinking? Anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent here, but I even lost my train of thought. But going back to just the simple fact, we need to make the difference now. We need to start working towards that. Because if we can get possibly a third party going, if we can make the mainstream media straighten themselves out, and or if they won't straighten themselves out, then we can just basically criticize them, make them look bad, paint them in a horrible light, and people will eventually start coming around, and they'll realize, they'll be like, look, man, I just completely blocked ABC, NBC, all CBS, CNN, and all these news plays. I just blocked them on my TiVo so that these people will even know, like the people that run TiVo. I blocked them on my cable box so that the people that run the cable company, they will realize that, hey, I dislike that channel so bad I won't even allow it to play. When we start doing those type of things, and I'm not so much about, I hate to boycott anything, but it's not exactly like they're selling a product. They're not in the regular market like you and I are if we have a company or, somebody selling us jeans or whatever. These people are in the market of supposedly reporting, but they're not. They're just spreading lies. And at that point, I really just don't feel bad in boycotting them. Will it make some people lose some jobs? It will. But it's just like putting dope dealers out of jobs. I mean, if they lose their jobs, I don't really feel bad. Technically it's a free market, and they're just, they're working inside that. But again, they're just pushing the wrong kind of stuff. And if they happen to disappear from the job market, I don't really care. The last thing that I want to talk about here, we only have 4 years to make a difference, and we need to start working on that right now. Honestly, it'll probably take 10 or 20 more years to really get things righted in America. We have to start working on making politics okay to talk about. We have to make people understand that discussing politics is completely acceptable on Facebook, on Twitter, at the dinner table, out to eat with your friends. We have to. The reason is because that's what America was built on. Discourse, political discourse. If it weren't for political discourse, just like I was telling a friend last night, if it weren't for political discourse, we would still be part of the British Empire. The entire world would be a different place. But we got to make people understand this, because not only the media, the narrative, the social narrative is that it's not polite to talk about politics. You know what? Here's the difference. And I will even say this. It is not polite to argue about politics. However, it is completely okay to discuss politics, to have a dialectic about politics, to debate politics. The difference is, when I say something that you don't like or you don't agree with, you don't simply fly into a cursing rage, get mad, get up, leave, slam the door. You don't yell and scream and hit, and punch or slam the table or whatever. No. If you don't agree or like what I'm saying, you debate me. Because if your point of view is really a good point of view, then you will be able to bring me around to your way of thinking. And, or, who knows, maybe I might change your mind. And even if it doesn't happen right then, because some people are too proud to make that change right there, and that's okay. Because here's the deal. You left that seed there. It might not take root for a few days, a few months, a few years. But who cares? If it took 10 years later, that person finally comes around to your point of view, that just because it happened to be a better point of view, that's great. That's a win for you. That's a win for me. That's a win for the nation. That's a win for America. But we got to think about that. And again, though, I don't want you people arguing. Don't argue. Debate. One of the things that I want to task you guys with is learn how to debate. We need to do that. I've never seen this, but can somebody text me or let me know if they make a Debate for Dummies book? That would be a great place to start. I'm, as a lot of you know, I'm really great at debate. Really good at it. I love it. So I do a lot of studying and stuff on it. But even if there was a Debate for Dummies, I'd still like to read that. Just, that's just how I am. I like to learn anything I can, any kind of way, even if it's elementary. But if there's not, if somebody else happens to know a great book for beginners or something like that, please text me, let me know, leave a comment, whatever. Because I would love to promote that in my shows and get that out there, because that is what the New Republic needs. All of our listeners, we need to know how to do basic debate, because we can't argue somebody around to our point. We can only debate them to our point. And if that's not the case, maybe I'll write a simple pamphlet or something, the basics of debate or something that maybe will help. And I've done a show, as many of you know, about some simple stuff. And I think a lot of you have learned how to identify some of the basic arguments. So, that's good. That's good on you. It's good on me. It's good on all of us, because that, like we're saying, eventually it will make a difference. So, guys, again, let's activate the brain trust. Start thinking. Get those wheels spinning. Tell me what your ideas are. Send them in. Text them in, 979-31-TALK-6. Call them in, 979-31-TALK-6. Leave a message on Twitter, whatever it be. Just get us information here. Get us some ideas. Let's get this ball rolling. We've had a setback. Hopefully it won't be the end of the world. Hopefully we can get through this 4 years. Maybe we can dramatically change the nation. That's what the New Republic's all about, is education, getting people all on the same page, getting them to see through the lies, basically just making us a better nation than we were before. And I don't want to be just a little bit better. I want to be a lot better. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. And as always, as we say, let's go out tonight and tomorrow. I know it's a late show tonight. But go out tonight and tomorrow. Let's do some good deeds for people. Let's help somebody out. If you see somebody in need, be there for them. Even if it's just a good word of encouragement, or even if it's just opening the door for them. We need to do what we can to promote good thoughts, good things, good ideas in our communities. in our families, in our home. As always, do for your community, because your community will do for you. Spread some smiles. Definitely spread the knowledge. And spread the love. Be there for your fellow man. Well, I will leave you guys with that. I hope y'all are having a little better day. And I hope I set your minds thinking on something a little more positive. Y'all have a great one. I'm your host, Keith Clark, and I'm out.
I wanna be sedated. Just put me in a wheelchair.